Dan Wolken, who's been a guest on this show, columnist for USA Today, the headline, Dan Hurley must change. There's no better time with UConn out of March Madness spotlight. Now, I don't think he can change. Why should he change? This is who he is. But Dan Wolken says if Hurley can conquer all of that, he can find the right balance between being himself and steering clear of these unflattering moments that make him look like a maniac. Now that UConn's championship run is over, there's never been a better time to start. I don't think he can change. This is who he is. And it's not like people said, oh, Bob Knight at Indiana. You had people look the other way. I mean, Bob Knight was different than Danny Hurley is. I mean, Bob Knight was a bully to his players. I think by all accounts, Dan Hurley has been a pretty good coach for his players. Does he get caught up in the emotion of a game? Absolutely. And Bob Knight did. The refs, they're out to get us. Hey, I'm the face of college basketball. I understand all of this. Dan Hurley's not going away. You go away when you don't win. And he will continue to win. He does have the formula. John Calipari has finally admitted he took too many freshmen at Kentucky. I said it felt like every single year. You need to have juniors and seniors. You can get a good player from a smaller school. Maybe it's a mid-major. But to get that to blend in with the freshmen, because freshmen will act like freshmen this time of the year sometimes. And now Calipari said, hey, I'm still going to go after some freshmen, but I'm going to sprinkle in some sophomores and juniors. But he needed to do that. John was great at one thing, but it hurt the end result, the finished product. And that was you win one title. And I know he'll come on today and he'll tell me how many billions of dollars his players in the NBA have made, which to me, if I'm a Kentucky alum, I'm like, I don't care. Hey, I'm really proud that Devin Booker's making $45 million. What does that mean for my program? What's that mean for Kentucky? And that's what I thought John always missed. He lost sight of. You got to win games. Yes, you're developing the players. Those players are going to make that money if they're at other programs. Are you trying to tell me that some of these guys who went to the NBA, like Anthony Davis, wouldn't have benefited or, made all this money if he played for Creighton? I'm guessing. Probably still would have been formidable. But John, I don't think, developed those players to the point where you got 6 months to be able to do that. And maybe 6 months is an exaggeration. You need to have players who have played. You need to have players that will transfer in and help you. And that's what Dan Hurley has done. He found a blueprint. You're still going to get a couple of top recruits, but you're going to get those guys who can come in as a fifth-year senior. Maybe you're going to get a couple of upperclassmen. Those are the guys who help you this time of the year. They don't get intimidated. They've been in these situations. And now you have Arkansas, which he's got a roster that's not a great roster, but it's a roster that may fit what they need to do moving forward. Now, he might go after more freshmen, probably so. I think he loves the chase. I think he loves to be able to say, but Kentucky's different than Arkansas. Unless you're paying. Kentucky can pay. But he would get everybody that he wanted, it felt like. Now at Arkansas, you're not going to. But I think this can make him actually a better coach because he has to be a better coach. Yeah, Paulie.
It's also a little ironic. I was watching Kentucky yesterday, and I didn't watch a lot of Kentucky basketball this year, and they looked awesome. And you know what else? They look like grown men. And so I looked at their roster. They have 6 guys who average 10 or more points per game, 5 seniors, 1 junior. There's not a person in their top 6 that's under 21 years old.
Yeah. There's that moment that went viral when Danny Hurley is walking to the locker room and he sees the Baylor players. Baylor's playing Duke at the game after theirs, and he goes, I hope the refs don't bleep you like they bleeped us. I hope they don't do that to you, Baylor.
And bleep isn't for help.
Yes. Yes.
What makes that statement weird isn't that he said it to me necessarily. It's that no one can really identify the call that he's upset about.
I know.
Like there wasn't an obvious, if somebody, say, I don't know, took 3 steps and hit a game winner and nobody called it, maybe I would be upset about that. I'd be like, wow, they really screwed us. But there really isn't that. There's kind of like Alex Caravan maybe was fouled some point in the second half that could have been called but wasn't. I don't know. I don't really know what the one is that he's like, that's the call that really screwed us.
Yeah. And that's what surprised me. I'm like, I don't know what he's angry about. It felt like he was trying to fire his team up, or I guess, I don't know. And look, coaches there can be a smaller incident, but you erupt because of something that happened prior to that. It's not always that, boy, you went off after that. It's like if you have an argument with your wife, it could be over something silly, but there's other things that led up to that you did, get fiery. And then it's something silly. Yeah, Paul.
I think Danny Hurley is not used to losing in this stage after the past couple of years. And it can't be him, and it can't be his players. So on the way out, it's much easier to blame the refs in that moment of anger.
Yeah, he's going to look at that game film and go, we had our chances. This wasn't about the officials. This was about you guys played well, as he said, played with honor, but you missed your shots. You had your chance to take down Florida.